Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge, and this is We Reflect the Light. Welcome. This is a continuation of the enemy's plan against the black man and woman of America. Part of our enemy's plan, sisters and brothers, is to erase our history, erase our memories of what it is that they have done to us, what it is that we have endured, so that we're confused about who we are, who our enemies are, where we're going, what our vision is. So our enemies are carrying out a plan of deception against the original black man and woman right here in the hells of North America. However, they will not be successful in that plan. That's why we're here today, sisters and brothers, to jog your memory, to let you know our true history right here in North America. The Holocaust. The Holocaust is the correct term for our experience. They tell you that slavery is the word to identify our experience. However, slavery is only 1% of what we endured. The other 99% is affliction. So slavery is not the correct term. The Holocaust is the correct term for our full experience, sisters and brothers. And our history can be found right here in the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 12 through 17. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. All right, sisters and brothers. This is our true history. Our father Abram had a vision of horror. Not a dream. He had a vision of horror. And that's exactly what we endured. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety. So that means this is not a critical race theory. A theory is something that has yet to be proven. This is not a might be. This is not a maybe. This is a surety. That means that this is a definite, sisters and brothers. This is recorded facts. That thy seed, whose seed? The seed of Abraham. So it tells you exactly who's enduring the Holocaust. So we don't have to guess about any of this. This is the only part in scriptures where our father Abraham is called Abram. And by these devils' own admission, these devils, they say that we're Ham cursed black to be slaves forever and ever. Louis Farrakhan says that we're cursed due to, he's saying that we're in rebellion to God. Therefore, we're cursed with nappy hair. And the bottom line of that, sisters and brothers, is that we have the dominant traits. We have the dominant genes. Nappy hair is the true crown. Straight hair is a recessive gene. That's what he has, because he is the seed of his devil father. So he's saying that we're cursed, ugly. We're cursed with nappy hair for being in rebellion to God. And that's not the truth. In reality, he's cursed with a cursed for robbing us, sisters and brothers, and that can be found in the book of Malachi. However, the point of the matter is, these devils and their demon children, they say that we are Ham. And we are indeed Ham. When you put Ham with Abram, you get Abraham. So this verse also identifies that Abram will be separated from his seed Ham during this time period. So it shares that we will be sojourners in a land that is not ours. What land is that? America. We were brought over here to this land, sisters and brothers. This is not our land. We are sojourning here. That means we're on a temporary stay. We are on a visit, if you will. We're visiting America. This is not our home. And what would we endure here in this land that's not ours while we're on a temporary stay? We would serve them, that's enslavement, and they would afflict us. That's horror, sisters and brothers. So let's get into it. Slavery. It's an economic system of capitalism. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. It's working someone without paying them. We're slaves right now. While we were in the fields, they got the maximum amount of labor out of us. So they took our energy. We planted their food. We took care of their livestock. We built their homes. So they got the maximum amount, the maximum energy, the maximum amount of labor out of us, maximum profit, minimum overhead. They gave us just enough to survive. Scraps, the trash, the parts of the animal that they did not want to eat, such as chitlins, which are originally called shitlins. So slavery is an economic system of capitalism. However, how did they maintain that system? How did they conduct themselves towards us? How did they treat us? They afflicted us. So what does that entail? They boiled us alive. They burnt us to death. They beat us to death. They snatched our babies away from us and did unspeakable things to our children. We started off as children, right? So they did unspeakable things to us from the moment we were born into the day we died. They raped us relentlessly, raping us nonstop, trying to rape our seed out of existence. So they tried to destroy Abraham's seed during the Holocaust. They sodomized our men, our boys, again, our babies. We started off as babies. They tried to commit genocide on our nation, sisters and brothers, on the original black man and woman, by putting, rules in place. They would not allow us to freely multiply with our man. We were not allowed to procreate with one another. Massa raped us and put his seed into our wombs, forcing us to give birth to his house Negroes. So the devil put his seed into our womb and forced us to give birth to demons. Half devil, half man. That's what demon means. They have the skin tone of their black mother, but the bloodline of their devil father. So sisters and brothers, being raped, overcoming genocide, that's not a part of slavery. These devils went to war with us while we were in the fields. And being the warrior queens that we are, sisters and brothers, sisters. We stood up for our nation in a time of need, ensuring that we kept our original seed coming through our womb. How did we do that? We had to sneak and procreate so that we could keep multiplying, so that we could keep reproducing Abraham's seed, so that we could be here today, because we have a reward for enduring the Holocaust. They also wanted to prevent the Messiah from being born. So by them restricting us from multiplying our seed, and instead they multiplied their devil seed, using our wombs to do it, they were trying to, like I shared, kill off Abraham's seed. And the Messiah, Joshua the Messiah, he is the true seed of Abraham as well. So they were trying to prevent the Messiah from being born. And if it wasn't for us, warrior queens, the Messiah would not be here today. We would not be here today. So we have made an excellent sacrifice for our nation, being on post. So, and that's what we do. Warrior queens, handling business, soldiers. No one asked us to do it. We saw the need and we did what needed to be done. And we're still on post at this very moment, sisters and brothers. So the Holocaust. How long would this time period be? How do we know where we're at in time? How can we verify? It shares that 400 years. So that 400 years lasted from 1619 to 2019. How do we verify that? 2020 came in with the plague, signaling that the judgment has started. So let's keep moving. It says, afterwards shall they come out. So here the scripture is telling us that we're coming out of this land that is not ours. And we're coming out with great substance, great wealth. That's what great substance means. Great wealth, sisters and brothers. Gold and silver. It shares, but thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. So again, go to thy fathers. That means our father Abram wasn't in America when he had this vision of horror. So we're going back to where our father Abram is from. We're going back to our land, going back, returning home. It shares, but thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation, so we're in the fourth generation right now, sisters and brothers, they shall come hither. Hither means here. They shall come hither again. So that means that we're returning again. And the fact that it says again, that means this is our home that we're returning to is a land that we are familiar with. The land that we are from, which is not America, sisters and brothers. So anyone telling you that America is our land is a liar and an enemy to us, sisters and brothers. So-called black leaders, ministers, preachers, deacons, Louis Farrakhan, the chief demon, and his student ministers, they are not clearly identifying the Holocaust. And they are not identifying that we are coming out of America and that we are hithering, returning to our own land. So that's a red flag right there, sisters and brothers. Now let's keep moving. Afterlife. As I explained in the beginning, part of our enemy's plan against us is to distort reality so that we don't understand who's who and what's what. So, confusion. Now they tell us that hell is somewhere beneath the ground. There's a devil with a pitchfork, it's fire. They tell us that heaven is somewhere beyond the clouds. However, that's not true, sisters and brothers. Everything in the scriptures is physical, it's real, it's something that you can see and identify. Hell is where we're at right now. We're in the hells of North America. So America is hell. Hell is a place. We are in the furnace of affliction. Heaven is also a place, a landmass. So understand that there is no afterlife. Understand that this is part of the illusion that they have put on us to keep us out of touch with reality. They do not want us to connect the dots, sisters and brothers. Because if we are in sync or in touch with reality as one people, see, this is also another tactic to keep us divided, sisters and brothers. To keep the original nation divided. They put the demons on us. That's one of their ways to keep us divided. Because 34 million blacks in America, 17 million are house Negroes, demons. Massa's goal was for all 34 million to be demons. However, we did not allow that, warrior queens. And as a result of our efforts, 17 million blacks in America are original saints, sisters and brothers. So another part of their plan is to deceive us, keep us divided, because if we can't identify who we are, what's what, identify our enemies, identify where heaven is, where hell is, we're all over the place. There's no unity because we don't even have the same, let me see how I want to put it, because we're out of touch with reality. So how can we move forward in the right direction and we can't even identify what's going on? How can we return home to our land? We don't even know that we have a land to return to. So we're in hell right now, and we're going to heaven, which is a physical place, which is a landmass. And we'll identify that as we go further. However, sisters and brothers, this is another part of the affliction that we endured, torturing us, psychological torture, telling us that if we don't believe in Jesus, which Jesus is a made-up word, Jesus never existed. It's part of, comes from Greek mythology, Jesus. So it's a made-up word. You will not find the word Jesus anywhere in the original manuscripts. So they gave us that fake word, tell us that if we don't accept Jesus in our heart and love and pray and worship, that we're going to go to hell and burn forever and ever and ever. And that if we do, we'll go to heaven. But even if we go to heaven, we're Ham, cursed black to be slaves forever and ever. So we'll still be slaves in heaven. So there was really no winning for us, according to their interpretation, how the information that they gave us, the mind they gave us. So we're here reflecting the light so that you can get back in touch with reality, sisters and brothers. Get that correct information so you can make the right decision, which you will. You will make the right decision, sisters and brothers. You just need the information to make the right decision, the right information. So we're in hell right now, sisters and brothers. Do not be deceived. They tried to convince us that there was a hell beneath our feet, a devil with a pitchfork, something that was worse than what we were actually experiencing on a day-to-day basis. Them raping us and ripping us to shreds and cutting us open, no anesthesia, doing C-sections, all kind of medical experiments on us, sisters and brothers. And they are the devils that did it to us. So they have all kind of lies about who devils are, who demons are. All of that to keep us out of touch with reality, sisters and brothers. So do not be deceived. And with that, our next speaker will take us forward. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Fatima Hodge. Today I'm going to be reading out of the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 18. In that day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. All right, sisters and brothers, this scripture here that is identified in the book of Genesis is identifying God's sure word that he made to his people for suffering here in hell, America, for 400 plus years, sisters and brothers. This was God's promise that he made to his people, that we would return back to our land, the best part of the planet Earth, Arabia, sisters and brothers. All right, excuse me, sisters and brothers. All right, Arabia is in fact the best part of the planet. And it is in fact our promised land, right? And this scripture here in Genesis chapter 15, verse 18, identifies exactly where that land is located, right? So we have to understand that this is in fact the black man's heaven, right? Black man and woman's heaven. And it is in fact on earth, sisters and brothers. Not somewhere beyond the moon, sun, and stars. It is in fact on earth, right? Now, this is also something that the enemy keeps from you, sisters and brothers, because they don't want you to fulfill the Abrahamic covenant. This is why they have you pushing a dream, which is not real, sisters and brothers, because they know a people without a vision will in fact perish. And the Abrahamic covenant, sisters and brothers, is in fact our vision. And they're doing everything in their power to block you from this vision. Because we have to understand that that means we're getting out of this land, right? And going back to our land. And they don't want that to take place, sisters and brothers. They want to keep you here under their control, right? But they will not be successful in their attempts. Now, as you see here in these two photos, sisters and brothers, heaven and hell is a physical place. Not somewhere beyond the sun, moon, and stars. Not somewhere under your feet. A physical place. And the black man and woman's hell is right here in America, sisters and brothers. The white man's heaven is in fact the black man's hell. And we've been here in hell for 400 plus years. Nothing gets worse than the experience of the black man and woman of America. And they tell you these things, to destroy our nation, to keep your minds at a low level of thinking, to keep you outside of reality. Now we're here to bring you back to reality, sisters and brothers. And hell is a place on earth. And they told you hell, excuse me, sisters and brothers, they told you heaven was a place where you go when you die. So, you know, we have to understand some of our people, chose to, you know, kill themselves, right? Because they thought they would go to heaven, right? Because this right here is hell, America, right? Nothing's, like I said, nothing was worse than this experience that you see here in this photo. The black man and woman of America's experience. So, if hell is heaven, if heaven is somewhere I go when I die, and things are going to be great for me, right? No more torment, no more torture. Then why not get there faster? So that's exactly what some of our people did, kill themselves. And then they had to tell you that, oh, no. If you do that, then you're going to go to hell, right? If you kill yourself, you're going to go to hell. But this is in fact hell, sisters and brothers, a place on earth. And so is heaven, sisters and brothers. So this is all to destroy our minds, sisters and brothers. Excuse me. This is all to take that back, sisters and brothers, not our minds. This is all to destroy our nation. And this is the mind that these devils have given us, sisters and brothers. Understand that. So the mind that we are operating on right now is the mind that the enemy, these devils that we are surrounded by here in hell, who has killed our nation, right? This is the mind that we are operating on. The mind that they have given us. And it has taken us out of reality, sisters and brothers. And we are here to give you your minds back, sisters and brothers, bring you back to reality. Hell is, in fact, a place on earth, which is right here in America, sisters and brothers, a physical place. And heaven is, in fact, the best part of the planet Earth. Our heaven, sisters and brothers, right? Which is the white man's hell. The black man's heaven is, in fact, the white man's hell, sisters and brothers. And our heaven is in our land, Arabia, as you see here in this photo, sisters and brothers. And this is why they don't want you to fulfill that covenant, sisters and brothers. And they want you operating off of the mind that they gave us, right? Because they don't want the new reality to come in. Because guess what that means for there? That means that their reality, their heaven is coming to an end, sisters and brothers. But we know that they cannot change how the universe works, sisters and brothers. And it is 4 seasons, right? Approximately every 6, excuse me, sisters and brothers, approximately every 6,000 years, there's a new season, right? So, and we have to understand that, right, let's leave it there, sisters and brothers. So, understanding that, sisters and brothers, we're coming out of the winter, right? And that is the season that we're in right now, right? And in the winter, it's really cold, right? Things die, right? And that's exactly what took place. It's a cold, cold, cold reality. And we died, right? Our nation. But spring is that next season that's coming after winter. And when the spring comes, the sun comes out, right? And when the sun comes out, the things of the winter starts to melt. Because that heat starts to touch that ice. And it's no longer cold, right? All those flowers, trees that were dead, starts to come back to life. And sisters and brothers, that's exactly what's taking place. The spring is coming in. Global warming is not for us to fear, sisters and brothers, because global warming is in fact our time, right? Our heaven, the spring. This is the time that we'll thrive, sisters and brothers, just like they were thriving in the winter. We thrive in the spring, sisters and brothers. And this is why they don't want you to fulfill that covenant. Because they don't want the spring to come in. They're trying to stop that, but they cannot stop. How the universe works, sisters and brothers, they cannot stop the season from coming in, right? It's like you saying, oh, I don't want it to be summer when it's after spring. But you see, sisters and brothers. Exactly, sisters. I don't want it to be summer after spring, but that's just what it is. You can't stop that, right? All you can do is prepare for the next season, right? And adjust. And that is what they're preventing our nation from being able to do, is prepare for the next season that's coming in, which is our time, right? By keeping your minds at a low level of thinking, sisters and brothers. But we know that their plans will not prevail, sisters and brothers. And right now, the reason why you don't know anything about the Abrahamic covenant, right? Because right now you are pushing this dream that they've given our nation, right? Because this dream, includes paying your bills, having somewhere to live, taking care of your children, right? And if you're, working 24/7 around the clock, and if you don't do these things, you will not have any food. You will not have a place to live. You won't be able to take care of your children properly, sisters and brothers. You lose your job, right? So they make this American dream to where you're in survival mode 24/7, right? So we have to understand that that gives you no time to think about anything else but taking care of home and your family, sisters and brothers, paying your bills, making sure there's food on the table. All these things that they have taking your children to school, taking them to trips, keeping everyone happy, all these things that you have to do. So you're never focused on your vision, sisters and brothers, and you can never be focused on it. You can never even question to even know about what your vision is, because you're focused on surviving, right? In this American dream. And soon, our nation's going to wake up and find out that they are in a nightmare, sisters and brothers. Soon. Because our God is soon going to intervene, right? And put this American dream to a halt, sisters and brothers, an end. And that's going to give our people time to rise up as that mighty nation the scripture shares. Because at that point, you're not going to have this American dream anymore. And you're going to be focused on getting out of here, surviving, sisters and brothers, right? And that's going to, you're no longer going to be distracted, right? And that is important because right now, these devils are making sure that you're distracted 24/7 around the clock, sisters and brothers. And they're going bankrupt to make sure this. controlling what you're watching. They control the media. They control the celebrities. They control the comedians. They control the movies that you're watching, sports, all these things. They are in control of sisters and brothers, and it's all to destroy our nation. Now we have to understand that these devils, they don't want their heaven to come to an end, right? They want the black man and woman to experience heaven because they hate us, sisters and brothers. So they're doing everything in their power to get rid of us, keeping our minds at a low level of thinking. They gave away our jobs, sisters and brothers, that we qualified for. So all we have nothing else to do is flip burgers, sisters and brothers. Do the bare minimum, keeping us outside of reality, right? Christianity, all these things that they're doing to destroy our nation. And we're here to bring you back to reality, give you your minds back, sisters and brothers. Understand that hell is in fact a place, and it is right here in America for the black man and woman of America. And heaven is in fact Arabia, the best part of planet Earth, sisters and brothers. A place on earth. Alright, sisters and brothers. So with that, I'm going to bring on the next speaker. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. It's David Hodge. All right, brothers and sisters. So our enemies are preventing you from seeing what's really taking place in the world. Their objective is to keep you blind, keep you in fairy tale land, make believe, la la land, keep you out of touch with reality. That way you never put a face to them, put a face to your own self. That way you never identify the characters or individuals around you. So their job is to continuously misinform, mislead, confuse, and keep you thinking that 2 plus 2 equals 22. They never want you to find out the truth. They never want you to connect the dots. You see, they want to keep you blind, literally. So they give you the definition. They give you the image. They're giving you these things to keep you locked down in their reality, to keep you locked down in your destruction, keep you locked locked under their authority. You see. So when they tell you what angels are. They tell you what the jinn is. They tell you who Satan is. They tell you that demons possess you. They tell you about the devil with the pitchfork. They tell you who Son of Man is. Jesus. You see? They're the ones giving you the identification of these characters, which keeps our people out of touch with what's taking place in the world. So to us, This is what we think we're in a spiritual warfare that you can't see. That all these things, they're invisible, right? Spooks, spirits, make believe, fairy tale, fiction, but you believe it. So that's what you're operating off of. That's what you have to work off of. So you have bad information, which makes you. I mean, all you can do is make bad decisions with bad information, right? So they never want you, they don't want you to have access to good information. They don't want you to ever elevate. They don't ever want you to come out the miserable condition that you're in. They want to keep you locked in hell with the fairy tale that goes along with being in it, to make sure you continuously stay wrapped around lies, confusion. You see, make you weak, make you visionless. You see, that way you don't have any direction. You go in the wrong direction, actually. So you do have a direction. It's the wrong direction. So they keep you going at high speed, headed to a brick wall, headed to your destruction. Keep you in self-destruct mode. Keep you pushing a dead end vision. You see, keep you at the point where you will perish, and you love your enemies because you don't know who they are. You can't identify them. You see, so that's what they do. So all these little characteristics and things that you see, that's what you got to work with. So you can't identify who angels are. You can't identify who Satan is. You can't identify who the person that's coming to save you is. You don't know. So this is what you're working with. So that's why people in church. That's why people think that they're fighting a spiritual battle. They got angels on their wings, they got angels on their shoulders and devils on their shoulder, tempting them, and then you got one trying to save you. Then you getting possessed by demons, but you see, it's chaos. You see, and that's what they want to keep you wrapped around in being all discombobulated and to keep you completely confused. You see, keep you wrapped in fear, keep you stuck in their reality, which is designed to destroy you. So they never want you to break out. They never want you to find out the truth. That these individuals are physical people. Oh, excuse me. Bam. They never want you to find out who the jinn is, who the angels are, who Satan is, who the demons are, a devil. They never want you to find out that the Son of Man, so-called Jesus, Joshua the Messiah, that he's a black man. You see, said he had dark skin. Said had skin like he had skin of bronze and he had hair like lamb's wool. So that's the Jesus you're looking for. It said that he would come as a messenger of the covenant to give you, to tell you about your vision, tell you that tell you to add to what the statement of you'll be a fool to stay here to land in your imprisonment. He was the one to come give you the information, so you be prepared to go home. He's the one to lead you home. He's the one to give you the information to be successful during this time, and let you know that we headed out of here. You see, we getting the hell out of here. It said that right to fulfill the covenant. So that's who the Son of Man is, not some pale, thin hair devil. You see what they tell you? They tell you right here that they told you that the devil was someone with a pitchfork, but it's Massa. You see, that's who the devil is. Massa, the one who enslaved and afflicted you 400 years. You see, they're the devils. The Caucasian man and woman, they're the devil. See, Now you put a face to your enemies. Now you're not your own enemy. That's what they don't want for you to wake up to see what's really going on. You got the jinn. You see? The house aside. They're the ones. That's the jinn. The ones sitting on your land, getting rich off your land, ensuring your enemies with oil to keep making sure their realities are thriving, which is making you miserable, which is keeping you enslaved. They're helping fund your enslavement. You see, they keeping it rolling. They're the bloodline to this reality. You see, so they're providing the oil that's keeping you enslaved in America. They don't tell you about the angels, right? Tell you they're flying around little things with wings, do whatever angels do, right? No, we the angels, brothers and sisters. We are the black man and women of America, the ones who submitted to Adam, the devil. We submitted to the devils. You see, we the angels. Nothing spooky. You see, you start connecting all these things, and that's what they don't want. They want you to know that demons is massa. These devils, demons, are masses of black-faced children from the rape of the beautiful black woman right here. You see, from our women, from the rape of the black woman during the Holocaust, which is our true experience. They don't want you to know nothing about that. That you got black people that's walking around looking like you, but they're not you. Wolves in sheep clothing, Oreos, black on the outside, devil on the inside. You see? So this is exactly what these things are, brothers and sisters. You see? And you got Satan. Boom. Who's claiming to be you? The true seed of Abraham. Satan. False Israel. They're the ones that's masquerading as the angel of light. But they're not who they claim to be. They claim to be you. And they was established in 1948 to counter your claim as being the true seed of Abraham. See? But how do we know that they're Satan? I tell you. It tells you right here in the book of Revelations. It tells you right here in the unsealed scripture of Revelations, chapters 2 and 3, verse 9, both chapters. It tells you right here. It says, I have known of you the tribulation and the poverty, but rich you are. It says right here, in the blasphemy, which is a lie, out of what? Out of the same Jews to be themselves and not they are. But they are synagogue of the Satan. Then it says right here, look, I am giving out of the synagogue of the Satan, of the same themselves Jews to be, and not they are, but they are lying. See? So it says those who call themselves Jews, they're Satan. It says the ones who have synagogue, they're Satan. Ain't they the ones that got it? False Israel? Are they the ones who have synagogues? It's telling you clearly who they are. Satan. Ain't they the ones that go by, they call themselves Jews? They're Satan. You see? So it's clear who Satan is, brothers and sisters. The ones masquerading as you, claiming to be you, counting your claim as being the true seed of Abraham, because they know that they're in trouble. You see, that's why America and Britain established them in Palestine. You see, to count your claim as being true seed of Abraham, because they know they're in trouble for cursing God's people. Because they curse those who curse God's people. So that's why they did that. Because we're living out the scriptures. We're living out these things. So they followed the guidance. They got the guidance. You see? They're following it from their perspective, from the sealed Bible, right? So they're looking at it and they're trying to piece it together, and now they got to make adjustments to make it work for them, because it said they had a plan, but it said Allah was the best of planners. You see? So that means we was prepared. So we knew what they'd do, right? This is what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to do this. See, but we got something for that. You see? So they trying to make everything work out for them. They just, you see, cause thing is, their time is up, but they're not ready for their time to be up. So they're gonna push as hard as they can to try to eliminate you, because you're the one that's gonna make sure it's in. Huh? You the one that's gonna put an end to me? Oh no. Got something. They think they got something for us. But it said we was the ones who would be victorious. So our people, we're going to wake up. We're going to get the truth. It said the truth shall set you free. And they don't want you to have the truth. They don't want you to know nothing about this. They want you to put a face to these things. They want you to be able to identify, connect these things. They don't want you to wake up. Because if you wake up, that means they got to come down. You wake up, they go down. You get it? You go up, they go down. They don't want you to rise up. Because that's the end of them. That's their destruction. Because everybody's living off you. Everybody's benefiting off you being dead, being in the condition that you're in. They had a helping hand in your destruction. They never intended on you enduring this process. That's why they was helping curse you. You see? And that's why they prayed that you never make it to this day. Well, good thing prayers don't work, brothers and sisters. We on our way. You see? And they said they're gonna feel the wrath. You see? They're gonna feel our wrath here in a minute, brothers and sisters, because that's where we are. So we're gonna wake up. You see? And all these everybody who had a helping hand in our destruction, they're gonna get what's due to them. You see? Said every action has an opposite and equal reaction. You see, consequence. That's what this is about. It's about consequence. That's our reality. That's the most fundamental principle of the universe. And it said that no one's exempt. You see? So they're not going to get away with what they're doing. So our people are going to rise up. And we're going to make sure everybody get what's due to them. You see? So with that being said, brothers and sisters, that's what I had to share. And now I'm going to bring in the next speaker. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. The war in heaven. Is the war that we're witnessing in the Middle East. Sisters and brothers, the Middle East is heaven. The scripture states, Revelations 12:7, and occurred war in the heaven. So, right there, sisters and brothers, it lets us know a war occurred in heaven. Sisters and brothers, how would you know there's a war in heaven if heaven was a place somewhere that you had to go after death? How would you know? You wouldn't. You would have to die to understand. Hey, in that understanding, you would have to die and find out when you got there if, and because it's not, if there was such place. However, sisters and brothers, we're witnessing a war in the Middle East. And the scriptures lets us know that the Middle East is the land of the prophets, the land of God's chosen people, which is heaven, sisters and brothers. Now, this war is taking place in the Middle East, which is heaven. So it's not some make believe or some place you have to go after death. It's the Middle East, somewhere that you can get to. That's right here on this earth. All right. And occurred war in the heaven. The Michael and the angels of him other to war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. So this is letting us know that Michael and the angels of him other to war, or they are at war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil, and the Satan, the making to air, the being inhabited whole, he was thrown into the earth. Sisters and brothers, this lets us know that the dragon and the angels of it was not strong enough. They did not it proved strong. So they did not win the war in heaven. They were thrown out. There was no place found of them in heaven, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil, America, Britain, and the Satan, the synagogue of Satan, false Israel, the making to air, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. Sisters and brothers, this is clearly stating that the dragon, the house of Saud, Saudi Arabia, and the angels of it, America, Britain, and false Israel, will not be victorious in this war. They will be thrown out of heaven or out of the Middle East. The house of Assad, America, and Britain are going to be thrown out of the Middle East. This is what we're witnessing, sisters and brothers. And this is really what Iran is demanding, that America picks up and get out or leave the Middle East. As well as false Israel. Sisters and brothers, America Britain and false Israel, and the dragon, the house of Saudi Arabia, are all nations that have entered into war against Iran. America and false Israel war of aggression, which many call this illegal war. Sisters and brothers, this war that we're witnessing in heaven, in the Middle East, false Israel, America wants to destroy Iran so that they can fully control heaven. That's what's at stake here. This is what the devil or America, Donald Trump, and false Israel, Netanyahu, wants to achieve. To control or own heaven. Now, sisters and brothers, as was shared, they will not be successful in this war. They will not be the victors. Now, sisters and brothers, false Israel is going to be sieged and destroyed. America, Britain, and the House of Saud is going to be thrown out the Middle East, and false Israel will be left in the Middle East all alone. Sisters and brothers, the scriptures lets us know when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, Excuse me. I don't know what's. Okay, this is the opposite. Let's see. You will know that its desolation is near. Jerusalem's desolation. Where's Jerusalem? In false Israel. This is letting us know when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that its destruction is near. Sisters and brothers, when America and Britain and the House of Saudi Arabia are thrown out, Jerusalem will be surrounded by armies. False Israel will be surrounded by armies. And false Israel's desolation or destruction is near or will be near. So this is a point of time that speaks to the original black man and woman, letting us know that when Jerusalem is surrounded, this is right before the time of Jerusalem's or false Israel's destruction. When you see false Israel surrounded by armies, this is a sign that will take place right before the destruction of false Israel. This will also be the time, sisters and brothers, when America attacks all blacks. Sisters and brothers, America, knowing who the true seed of Abraham really is, knowing and understanding that America is under judgment, and knowing that we are God's chosen people and the God, Master Farad Muhammad, is avenging and standing with his people, his chosen people. America knows that they are in the path of God's wrath. And America, sisters and brothers, knows our rise will be their fall and destruction. So America is going to attack us all before false Israel is destroyed. Because America knows that when false Israel is destroyed, the religious eschatology that is being used in America and around the world with the idol, the false prophet, this idol, false Israel, who is masquerading as God's chosen people, masquerading as if they're the true seed of Abraham, masquerading and has stolen our identity, will be destroyed. And with false Israel's destruction goes this lie that this this Zionist, Christian Zionist eschatology that God is going, that some Jesus is going to come back right in the nick of time to revenge or to not to fight on false Israel's behalf and destroy all of false Israel's um, enemies, killing all the Muslims and the enemies of false Israel. This is their religious eschatology that the Christian church, Christianity, have been using to keep the original black man and woman from seeing themselves as the true seed of Abraham, and seeing who we are and understanding our vision. This is the eschatology that they're blocking the truth from us, that was used to counter the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's narrative that the original black man and woman here in America are the true seed of Abraham. And the 400-year period from 1619 to 2019 are the 400 years of enslavement and affliction that God's chosen people would endure in excuse me excuse me through in a land that is not theirs, a strange land. Sisters and brothers, this eschatology makes and wants us to think that we have no place in Scripture, that what's written in Scripture is history. Whose history when it doesn't fit history? And it doesn't fit false Israel's history, and there's no proof of a people, of God's chosen people being in a strange land besides the original black man and woman here in America and afflicted. Sisters and brothers, they want us to believe their eschatology. And disbelieve the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's and the messenger of the covenants understanding of the truth of who we are. Sisters and brothers, that scriptures are being lived out. Scriptures are being prophesied, and we're living out prophecy in today's time, in real time. Sisters and brothers, when false Israel is destroyed, their religious eschatology is destroyed with them. The lie that they are God's chosen people will be destroyed with them. The scripture says, this is not verbatim, however, this is the idea. When Israel is set back in their land, that Israel will never be moved or uprooted and moved again. When false Israel is destroyed, the world will know that false Israel is false. And that is going to open the eyes of the nations of the world, and immediately they will see the original black man and the original black woman as the gods and goddesses of the planet. God's chosen people, the true seed of Abraham. Sisters and brothers, which is going to shock the world. For nations will be shocked because of knowing what and how they have come against the original black man and woman. How they have assisted in our demise, in our affliction. We're the despised and hated of the world. And the world and the nations of the world are going to shake in fear. Now, sisters and brothers, Luke 21:26 men's hearts falling them. Excuse me. Excuse me. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Sisters and brothers, men's hearts failing them for fear or for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. The powers of heaven shall be shaken. The power, America, Britain, and false Israel, the house of Saudi Arabia. However, sisters and brothers, the world power, America, Gog and Magog, the rulers of this world, the rulers of this world, and it's clear and understood that Gog and Magog are the two superpowers that have ruled this world, the Caucasian nations, since the Caucasian or the devil was set free to cause mischief and shed blood throughout the land. America and Britain is the Caucasian nation, and America is the greatest of the Caucasian nations. The ruler of this planet at this time, the ruler of this world as we know it. Sisters and brothers, excuse me. Gog and Magog, America, sisters and brothers, rules over the Caucasian nations. And the Caucasian white man and the Caucasian nations are the rulers of this world. Sisters and brothers, America, Britain, and false Israel are ruling in heaven, in the Middle East, have attacked several countries in the Middle East, have taking land, occupying others' land, stealing and taking the natural resources out of the land. And America has done this using its military strength. However, sisters and brothers, the powers of heaven shall be shaken, meaning that the powers in heaven are thrown out. The power transfers out of those that are ruling. And Iran and the God, Master Farad Muhammad, and his angels, Iran and Syria, are now or will be the rulers or in charge of heaven or the Middle East. Sisters and brothers, this is what the scripture is sharing. The powers in heaven shall be shaken, and the world will see the power shift in heaven. The world will see America and Britain be thrown out of heaven, and the house of Saudi Arabia, thrown out. The world will see the siege of false Israel and witness false Israel's destruction. They will witness how false Israel's destruction yes, the world will witness the events of false Israel's destruction firsthand. And the fear men's hearts will be failing them for fear of what's coming here, what's coming there, what's coming to them, what's coming to America. This economic destruction, this economic collapse that is going to revert, is going to affect or shake the world, which is going to cause a collapse in the American economy, a collapse in the world economy, a lack of energy, a source that the nations need to do to carry out its functions, its everyday functions. And without the oil, the nations of the world energy source is going to collapse the world, nation, and the world as we know it, bringing this world to a screeching halt. Sisters and brothers, the fear men's hearts are failing from is what is coming to America. What is coming on the earth, on the Caucasian nations, on the nations as a whole. It's shared, sisters and brothers, that it's a world economic collapse. Sisters and brothers, this economic collapse is going to affect us dearly, the most seriously affect us because, sisters and brothers, we're already at the bottom of the totem pole. We already don't have the money, we don't have the capital or money to allow us to have resources put up for 30, 60, 90, 120 days. We're living day to day. So we're going to be affected immediately when this collapse happens as the world, but we won't have any put up. Sisters and brothers, because you're being told ahead of time of what's going to take place in the near future and what's being shared with you, you can see it, understand it from what the information that you're being given, so that you can take the information and examine it yourself. Look at what been given to you and look at what's taking place in the world, as well as look at what the unsealed scriptures share. Sisters and brothers, no one else is giving you this information. No one else is telling you we're going home, that we have a way out. That what we're seeing in this world is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in America. God's judgment. We are in that time. The world is being judged. The nation whom we served for 400 years and was afflicted by that nation are being judged. And we, the original black man and woman, are being brought out with great substance. And we, in that 400, after that 400 years, we shall return hither, back to our land where we came from. It's a must, as the Supreme Wisdom lesson shared, that we return to our original land. Sisters and brothers, the land from the river Euphrates, the land from the great river Egypt to the river Egypt to the great river Euphrates is our promised land, is the land that God gave unto Abram's seed. This is where we're going. We're not staying here. Sisters and brothers, we have a way out. And our way out is through the messenger of the covenant, the Lamb, Master Suleiman, and the uploading of our new mind, the Injil, which we will use the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam to protect us, sisters and brothers, as we go through this time of unprecedented trouble. A time like never before. When the scriptures say unprecedented, it means unprecedented. A time like never before. Even the Holocaust, our 400-year sojourn. This scripture states is worse. An event unprecedented to that. Sisters and brothers, however, we will be successful. We will rise as a mighty nation. We will be rise as one body, one people, one nation. We will mend together in Hajj, achieving Hajj, bringing our success, security for our families, our women, and children. Sisters and brothers, we have a way out and we will be successful. America and our enemies are going to attempt to stop our rise. However, they will not be successful. Sisters and brothers, I'm going to bring this to a close. I was going to say something. I'm going to leave it right here. Sisters and brothers, we are the true seed of Abraham. There's no spooks. There's no everything is identified in the unsealed scriptures. There's no spirits and spooks and mysteries and none of that. Everything can be seen. Sisters and brothers, so this is what's taking place. These are the characters. We are the true seed of Abraham. We are the ones that have been afflicted and enslaved for 400 years. Sisters and brothers, we are the ones that are being brought out of this land of our affliction with great substance, wealth, as well as our minds. And we're returning to our land. Assalamu alaikum.